In the world of science fiction, humanity almost always wins in whatever conflict they're in. A triumphant win, a magnum opus style accomplishment that saves the day. Somehow, victory always happens. But what if that wasn't the case? What if, after every single victory that they've fought, thousands of lives are spent to win that battle, but they would still lose in the end? What if there are no invincible heroes? What if the despair and tragedy, usually unforeseen in this type of media, manifested itself into a game? Enter Halo Reach. Now, for those who might be unaware of the lore of Halo, Halo Reach's events occur on a fictional planet known as Reach. It's classified as humanity's fortress world, which basically means it's home to the military, known as the UNSC or United Nations Space Command. It's also heavily defended militarily and navally, which implies the name Fortress World. But the most important for the game's story and overall plot is that humanity regards Reach as its most valuable planet, second only to Earth herself.
Contact with Visegrad Relay was lost last night. All signals
We go
flatlined
through
in
and play the game
2600
as a character
hours.
only known
I
to us
responded
as
two
Noble
Super Fire
6.
teams, which have since been
Currently in the
declared
footage you're watching,
MIA.
he's being introduced
now
into
you're
his
sending
new
us.
team, which is
The
Noble
Office of
Team.
Naval
It's a
Intelligence
Spartan
believes
fire
deployment
team
of a
type
Spartan team
element.
is a gross
Key
misallocation
detail
of
about
valuable
Noble 6 actually as
resources.
a protagonist
I disagree.
is that you can customize his armor to your own
Commander.
discretion. You can change his voice to
that's
male or
item number
female.
6.
There's a lot of cosmetic choices you can make
Okay.
that have no lore
read her
or
file.
gameplay implications,
Only the plots different
but it
from
allows the
19.
player to be more immersed
Anyone
into the
claim
universe,
responsibility, sir?
making them feel
Only
like as
thinks it
if
might
they're
be a local
actually playing.
insurrection.
It's them as a
5
person.
months ago,
Now,
they
for
pulled
this
similar
playthrough,
job
I
in
chose a
Harmony.
female voice
Did a
because I
relay to
usually
take
run a
out
male,
eyes
so I
and
just
ears,
decided to
then
switch it
stole
up a little
2
bit.
freighters
But like
from
I
dry
said,
dock.
there's no
That cannot happen here.
consequences, so
Reach
you
is
can
too
do
damn
pretty much
important.
whatever you want.
I want that relay back online, Noble One.
Sir, consider it done.
Then I'll see you on the other side. Holland out.
Lieutenant,
Commander, sir.
I'm Carter, Noble Team's leader. That's Kat, Noble 2, Emil and George 4 and 5. You're riding with me, Noble 6. Not gonna lie to you, Lieutenant. You're stepping into some shoes the rest of the squad would rather leave unfilled. Me, I'm just happy to have Noble back up to full strength. Just one thing, I've seen your file, even the parts the Oni sensors didn't want me to. I'm glad to have your skill set. But we're a team. That lone wolf stuff stays behind. Clear?
Got it, sir.
Welcome to Reach.
Now, a big thing that really needs to be addressed when talking about Halo Reach is its art style. Unlike other games you may see in the science fiction category, or just in general, it has a slightly more refined and polished art style, making it look more futuristic. It makes pristine images and gear feel if it's brand new. But Reach takes a different turn to it than most. The landscape is something that's meant to be beautiful. You'll see it in the footage coming up and further along in the video. I mean, hell, you start the first mission as seen here in a mountain range with breathtaking views. But as you progress through the game, you'll start to see the landscape change. Even in the first mission, in the first few minutes, the landscape's dry. It's scarred, there's damage to it. It looks as if it's from our time period, not a universe set 500 years into the future. It's just very much different than what you would expect, but it also looks as if it's war-torn. And you'll start to see more of that progression further through the game of it turning into a more war-torn, scarred, torn down, decrepit feeling and texture, which really adds to the sense of purpose and meaning to the game. Now, from this point forward, there are going to be spoilers for the game. I just would like to make that clear. This is an analysis. This isn't a walkthrough or a playthrough. It's an analysis of the game. And going forward with that, unlike the other games you see in the series of, let's say Halo 3 ODST, where it does echo the same destructive nature as Reach does, you still don't get the full appeal that Reach has to that sort of environment. In Reach, further through the game, you'll see the more destructive potential of the Covenant. You'll see an entire planet, parts of a planet turning to glass. Glass being the soil, the rock, the animals, all being superheated and turning into a glossy-like structure. Even the equipment that the UNSC uses throughout the game gets progressively more worse. You can see scratches on it. You can see dust. You can see debris. Hell, you can even see it in the beginning parts of the game itself. At the beginning of the game, when you're shown the burned, scorched planet with no idea what happens, say it's literally your first time ever playing the game, you're not going to know what happens, right? But even that art style, the animation, the cutscene, the cinematic of a planet being burned, the colors that are contrasting each other, the space dust surrounding the planet, while it's contrasting and uplifting the orange, the yellow, the red of the planet, really gives you an emotion of sort of awe. It's awe of like, wow, that's really beautiful, but then it also fills you with dread because you're like, wow, that's really beautiful, but oh my god, an entire planet, an entire civilization is being burned alive without care, without prejudice. They're being executed no matter what. And the art style and the way that it's animated and designed really morphs it all together in a way that you really don't see with a lot of other media. Most other media won't depict it as drastic. Star Wars doesn't have that same level. I'm not a big Star Wars guy, but I've watched some of it. Say like this Death Star blowing up a planet. It is very drastic. It's very it's very awing. It's very shocking. But to see a planet with people on it all burned in just a picture, in just a cinematic, gives you those emotions that I was saying before and really sets the tone, the overall tone for the game. And that's one of the reasons why Halo Reach is so impactful, because it's not just the lore and not the gameplay that sets the tone, but it's the way that the world is designed and sculpted that make it beautiful and terrifying. Going more off the tone as a major subject, the first opening moments of the game, you're already shown dead soldiers. You're shown dead civilians. It starts to create this image, this story in your head already of this is about to get bad quick. Like, we're already going into hell. You're telling me the first few seconds, the first few even minutes of the game, and I'm already seeing dead soldiers. I'm already seeing reports of civilians being killed. It starts to lay the groundwork of this is going to be deadly. This is going to be lethal. This is going to be a horrific, traumatizing event for these characters in the game. And it's the positioning of these dead soldiers and civilians, the way that they're sculpted in their positions of death, that really just show the, I guess, innocence or the lack of a struggle that they could put up, which is a metaphor for the game itself. They're not able to put up much of a struggle against the enemy, which is the exact premise of the game. So it's just that those tiny details of the way that they're lying, the way that there's no weapons around them at some points, really shows that this is this is going to be it. Reach also likes to use lighting as a big tone setter. Um, Lighting in all forms of art can mean a bunch of different things. Innocence, non-innocence, dark, light, of course, but Reach takes this turn of that darkness is evil. When you're in the dark, when you're in practically hell, which is the entirety of this game, you don't know what's in the dark. You're fighting in the dark. Um, and the dark is a big fear for a lot of kids, but also a lot of older people. Nobody likes to be in the dark. Um, when you die, people see black, and people don't want to see that. So when you're fighting, and your night vision, because it's not very that good in the game, your night vision doesn't help it. But the enemy's also cloaked. So it's that idea of fighting in the dark, being barely able to see your enemy and have them come from anywhere at any time in the exact specific setting that you want them to be in, keeps that tone up of depression, of struggle, of just insanity, carnage even. That's what you'll see in a lot of these dark scenes. It's going to be a massive firefight. There's going to be a lot of death for the Covenant, for the aliens, for some humans. There will even be a lot of death in these nights. The darkness really encapsulates the overall theme of dread in Reach, of loss. When it's dark out, you lose. You lose something. Innocence, stuff like that. It keeps connecting back to that same theme, which just constantly, and I cannot stress this and repeat this enough, makes this game so brilliant. And not just the revolutionary gameplay, but in the revolutionary storytelling that Reach gives us. Now, in classic fashion, that whole ruggedness, that whole decay part is immediately thrown out the window with the second mission in the game, Oni Sword Base. Now, ONI is the Office of Naval Intelligence. They're a research, spy type CIA organization in the Halo universe. And their facility is pristine. Even in combat, even with the Covenant trying to invade and destroy it with a spaceship hovering above, it's meant to be pristine. Now, what is the reason for this change compared to the UNSC? There's a lot of different things you could say. The way that Oni is sly, they're not telling people things, they're hiding things. They want to keep themselves looking pure in a form of defense against others. Like, no, we're innocent, we're pure. There's no reason to question us. Like, look at us. We're so clean, we're so tidy. It's that design that makes Oni feel sort of eerie in a way. Like, you don't want to trust them the entire time, especially the people you're talking to, like Dr. Halsey. She's very shrewd. She's very mean. You don't want to trust her. You don't want to like her. She's not a likable character, but she's a good written character for that reason, because she's not likable. But Oni's sword base, especially with the glaciers in the background, the ice caps, is such a beautiful set piece once again. And what it's doing right here, what Bungie is trying to accomplish in this mission is, and we'll touch on this on later parts of this analysis, is that humanity is still the Guardians, right? They're still there. They have a lot of power still. They're able to fight back. And I think that's a major reason why this game is also very good in its storytelling, is because it uses the environment to shape the way that the game is told. Like I've already said, throughout the game, when humanity progressively gets in a worse and worse position, you'll see the environment turn worse, turn more scarred, turn more damaged. But when humanity is winning in a sort of way, when they're able to keep the ground that they have and push the Covenant back, you're able to see the landscape, the things that we would call human, the buildings, the nature that are not foreign to us, still intact, gives us a sense of pride. It gives us a sense of home, security. Security is a big thing that the environment gives, and I just think that's a major thing to have, especially in a game where you're losing. Environmental storytelling also doesn't have to be about just nature itself. Like we've already discussed with the cleanliness and tidiness of the Oni sword base, you can also look to the skybox where you see the Covenant alien fighters, the Banshees, engaging with human helicopters and Hornets right below the Covenant Corvette when you're trying to shoot them down to stop the Corvette. It really sets the tone of a war, right? This isn't a small conflict like you saw in the first mission. This isn't like a small little insurrectionist type force, a small little tumor on the planet. This has evolved into something large more. This is an actual ground air force with aerial and space backup now on humanity's front door, and your job is to now stop them, to destroy the Corvette with a giant orbital cannon. And I mean, look at the Corvette itself. Just staring at it, it's ominous. Its shape is not human. Humans like polygons. Humans like sharp edges. While we do like round things too, all of our designs, modern day and even futuristic, are not rounded. They're sharp. Is this a evolutionary thing? We're not sure. I'm not sure, at the very least. But just having that ominous ship, not able to be touched, not able to be shot at, but just there. That one single object, that group of pixels, is much more ominous than an elite, one of the aliens in front of you, or literally anything in the game so far. Like, yes, sure, it's ominous when you get ambushed, but to see a giant spaceship, that's another type of fear that you can't just create. Stepping away from mission-specific imagery and environments and so forth, once you advance through the story, you see the consistent and I guess exponential collapse of humanity's defenses and the Covenant's progressing offensive on Reach. Like seen at the beginning of the game with the security and comfort that nature provides us, like in Oni Sword Base, you can see here that the ground looks rough. The grass has barely any color. There's a lot of tans, grays, a lot of browns as well. A lot of like neutral, like non-vibrant colors that really emphasize the growing conflict. Like seen in World War I, where after weeks of bombardment, the green and lush fields turn to gray, to mush. That's sort of what you're seeing here as the war and the actual battle continues. Now, for starters, talking about characters, if we go to the main character, who we play as, Noble 6, we don't really know much about him, and that's purposeful because you're supposed to be playing as him, you're supposed to be embodying him. So it really allows the player to connect more and to understand the role that they must play in the story, while also being able to see the surroundings in a different light than being forced to, I guess, let's say, act them out in a certain way, because you're not limited to anything. There's no set morals or actions that you have to do as Noble 6, which allows the much more involvement into the story than anything else. A big part about understanding Reach as a whole is you need to take a closer look at the dynamics of Noble Team and how each of the characters in Noble Team collide with each other or merge together. You have Carter, who is the leader. He has to command, be all that. But then you also have people like George, who, as you can see, is a much more caring, sympathetic, big guy. He's intimidating, but he also has a soft heart. He's not all mean or evil, whatever you might think. Contrast that with Emil, standing right beside George in this clip, is sort of a yin and yang style thing, where George is this light, soft-hearted, empathetic person, and Emil is a nihilistic and somewhat sadistic character in Noble Team. They clash a lot through their dynamics in the game, especially because they're two separate people, but they're also very interconnected. They're still teammates, they still care about each other, all of that. Kat and Carter, Noble 1 and Noble 2, also have a very interesting dynamic. Being the original two members of Noble Team, they're a lot closer. They understand each other more. They're interlinked.
48 hours? That's imminent? Uh-oh. Who's your money on this time?
Her.
You always pick her.
She's always had him dialed in.
That thing's crushing us and we're waiting for backup. They'll be backing up a graveyard.
All our nukes are either out system or went down with the ships that carried them. You're preaching to the converted.
How converted?
I know that look, Kat.
You can say no.
No.
You don't even want to hear it.
Fine, I'll hear it.
Remember that accident a couple years back? Colony ship en route to Cygnus, 700 dead.
Vaguely a slip space drive malfunction, right?
Actually, it worked fine. The drive was mounted improperly after a service haulout. When it fired, it teleported half the ship to oblivion.
This is relevant. How?
A certain Covenant supercarrier could, with some assistance, suffer the same unfortunate accident.
Even for you, Kat, that's
Inspired?
not the word I would use.
What's going on?
Go ahead. Explain.
May I?
Don't cut yourself.
Objective: destroy Covenant carrier in geosynchronous orbit above us.
This sanctioned, sir.
What do you think?
Oh,
Method: a slip space drive in lieu of the nukes we don't have. Delivery system: us. Solvable? Getting us up there. That and getting our hands on a slip space drive. Thank you for sharing.
So, all we need is orbit-capable transport and the single most expensive piece of equipment made by man.
As a soldier in the field, I couldn't possibly have access to those kinds of resources. That said, a good place to look might be, I don't know, the nearest non-existent launch site in the non-existent Saber program dismissed by 3 administrations as preposterous rumor, and in which our newest member was certainly never a pilot.
It's scary. You know that.
All we need is a green light from Holland.
Good luck with that.
You're the one asking him.
Well, there's no way in hell he's gonna go for this.
Now, the last person I want to discuss in this little short segment is Dr. Catherine Halsey, who you're seeing right here. She's, like stated before, very rude. She's not nice to anyone. She believes she's better than everyone else. But the main distinction between all of that is her devotedness towards helping humanity. She's very adamant on certain things. She's very kept together, I guess. She doesn't want anyone else to interfere. She wants everything to herself. She knows what's best, and only the best people that she sees in her eyes are allowed to communicate or be on the same level with her or even help her, in a sense. Noble Team is not one of those people that can really help her. Only Noble 6 ends up really helping her in the end to forward the mission she has of saving humanity with her specific technology. But other than that, she wants no help, and she does think she's better than everyone else.
I don't think you understand. We're out of time. If it isn't portable when we reach you, it's gonna get buried.
Bury any of it, and you bury mankind's best chance for survival. Commander, you've been wondering what your Spartans died for? They died for this. Please, buy me all the time you can.
Get, Lieutenant. She has made her choice. Do you have it?
Yes,
Say the words, please.
I have it.
Another big change from other games in the story is Reach focuses a lot on loss. Um, Losing battles, losing teammates, just the overall sense of dread of knowing you're going to lose and doing everything in your power to prevent that, but it inevitably will happen anyway. Reach does this in a lot of ways, and we're going to talk about a lot of them. But for Reach, there is no winning. The story of Reach has no winners besides the enemy. Humanity doesn't win. Noble Team doesn't win. The UNSC doesn't win. The only ones who technically win are the ones who carried Cortana out of Reach as it was falling. There is no heroes besides Noble Team. Most of them probably forgotten in the terms of Halo lore. Not by the players, but the in-game and in-universe people. They're most likely forgotten as their sacrifices were in vain. Some died thinking they saved the planet. Others died not knowing what would happen to their teammates after their sacrifice. It's really a good contextualization of sacrifice. You're taking a gamble. You're putting all your cards out on the table. And after you lose, who knows what happens? Who knows, your opponent can throw out, a royal flush, and that does end up happening in the game. No matter what happens, the Covenant always have a trump card. And it's that whole orchestra of loss throughout the game that really makes Reach a beautiful masterpiece. The first real victory Noble Team and the UNSC has, besides Oni, Sword Base, is during the Tip of the Spear mission. They're directly engaging the Covenant ground initial landing forces. They see the shield pylon towers, in which they figure out they need to destroy them in order to stop the invasion, of course. Now, they are also rumored to be teleportation to another group of Covenant that are getting on the planet somehow. So, Noble Team goes in. They start fighting through, trying to get to the first pylon. Eventually, they breach through the shields and interact with the pylon itself. Noble 6 disrupts the shields on it, allowing for a UNSC frigate with a Mac cannon to open fire and destroy the pylon. Upon the frigate destroying this pylon, the frigate moves in closer, and just right above the frigate, you start to see a purple light. And just when you think that you've won, a massive plasma excavation beam shreds right through the frigate, destroying it. It's somber in a way, knowing that now all your work just got torn to shreds because none of it mattered. What appears in the sky in orbit above Reach and the source of the plasma excavation beam that destroyed the frigate is the Long Night of Solace, a 18-mile-long Covenant supercarrier. For reference, Manhattan Island, which most of you may be familiar with, is only around 23 miles long. This is the biggest ship humanity has ever seen. Nothing even comes close to the volume, the firepower, the sheer size of the Long Night of Solace. It truly is the deadliest weapon the Covenant could have brought out. Eventually, a plan is drawn out to destroy the Long Night of Solace by Noble Team. So they're the ones that have to go in. They're going to use the sci-fi device in Halo for faster-than-light travel, known as a slip space drive, rig it as a bomb, and blow it right under the vessel, causing it to explode. At this point is when we see the first sacrifice of Noble Team, the first death of that being George. The remote detonator is damaged when they go to fire it, when they go to ignite it. Realizing there's only one option left, George throws the player, Noble 6, off the ship towards the planet and directly ignites the slip space drive.
Tell him to make it count.
What's most ironic about George's death is the fact he died off of Reach. George was born on Reach. He lived his whole life on Reach. He was inducted to the Spartan 2 program on the planet, as that's what was its home. He never left the planet, not once. He ends up dying right above the planet, the place he was home to. And the biggest explosion in the Halo universe thus far. Another ironic callback to him being the biggest member of Noble Team and going out in the biggest way possible. However, George died lucky. He died lucky thinking that he had just saved his planet. He had just saved his home. And the most haunting thing in any sort of media I've ever seen, the most depressing, the most helplessness segment I have ever seen, occurs just a few moments after his sacrifice.
Slip space rupture detected.
Gamma station control, reading multiple pings below the orbital defense
Slip
grid.
space rupture detected.
Yeah, we're picking up anomalies too. Are you reading
Slip
it?
space rupture detected.
Multiple Covenant signatures.
Slip space
Does anyone have a
rupture
vision?
detected.
They're everywhere.
Slip space
Yeah,
rupture
must be
detected.
the whole damn Covenant
Slip
fleet.
space rupture detected.
315 vessels. All Covenant of origin, all Covenant Navy. Humanity had never seen this many ships. There was approximately 3 fleets that attacked the Reach in total. The first fleet, which we do not know the name of. The second fleet, the one that responded to Reach, being the fleet of Resplendent Immolation. And the third and final fleet involved with the fall of Reach, being the fleet of Particular Justice. This single moment sealed Reach's fate. There was no possible way humanity could fight back against 315 ships in total. In Halo lore, the UNSC determined that for every one Covenant ship, they would need 3 human ships. At this point, the first fleet of the UNSC in response to the attack on Reach hadn't arrived. It was still over a day away from arriving. This scene, this cutscene, finally is the turning point. It's no longer humanity pushing back, the UNSC getting small victories and slowing them down. No. The destruction of the Long Night of Solace wasn't a victory. Some believe that as soon as the destruction came, it was sort of a message for the rest of the fleets to invade. Some believe it was just bad timing. Who knows? But there was no possible way Reach could win. There was no possible way that the UNSC or humanity would win this fight anymore. It was now a battle of evacuation, of saving their skin. How many lives can we save now? As Noble Team continue to save as many as possible in the burning skyscrapers of New Alexandria, the crown jewel of Reach, sort of like the New York City of Reach. Overhead, Covenant cruisers approached the now burning and molten city, glassing it, raining plasma down indiscriminately against humans, no matter who they are. It comes a point now where there is no longer attempts at pushing back. Kat makes remarks later about Spartans being put on defensive deployments. And at this point, everyone, not even just Noble Team, are putting the pieces together. They are losing. There is no hope. There is no chance that Reach can be saved. And upon this discovery, upon knowing this, Kat decides to confront Carter about this.
Sir, that true about Gauntlet Red and Echo teams assigned to civilian evac ops?
Those are senior level communiques.
I hear what I hear. Point is, why put Spartans on defensive deployments?
I need that link to SATCOM, Kat.
Chasing it. But this console's got more shrapnel in it than transceivers. You didn't answer my question.
You want to know if we're losing?
I know we're losing. I want to know if we've lost.
I know we're losing. I want to know if we've lost. That line is single-handedly the best line in Halo Reach. It perfectly materializes the game's overwhelming plot point. You're losing, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. The only chance you have is to get out or save as many as you can before you've fully lost. The mission New Alexandria, of where you're flying the Falcon throughout the skyscrapers, trying your best to destroy jammers and save as many people as you can, is not my favorite mission for gameplay reasons, but it is one of my favorite missions for the tone, the atmosphere, and the meaning behind it. You see in the distance the city being burned. You see the Covenant in their overwhelming force blowing through everything, and you're no longer being put on the offensive like Kat said. You're being forced to help evacuate, to help save, to just do whatever is possible to get everyone out. Spartans on evacuation orders was a sign of death. Not for the Spartans on those orders, but for the sign of the mission, for the sign of the war. That means that there's no hope in fighting back. Spartans are the strongest soldiers against the Covenant, hands down. There's no debating that. So when you take them away from fighting the Covenant into helping, save whatever they can, it's the end. Unlike George, not everyone in Noble Team had a noble sacrifice. After the conversation she has with Carter, and after Carter is informed of a new mission, a demolition op, the Covenant start glassing extremely close to Noble Team's position after zeroing them in on their radios. As they retreat to a fallout bunker below Oni headquarters where they're at, the most unexpected turn of events unfolds in front of your very eyes.
We got movement. Multiple Covenant vehicles vacating the area. And they're in a hurry.
How often you see Covenant retreat for no reason?
Radiation flare. Big. 40 million root guns.
Just lost Holland. What's going on?
Atomic excitement scrambled the signal. 90 million now.
Source?
Airborne. Close.
How close?
That close! First glassing? Me too. Don't worry, I'm on it. Our best option is a fallout bunker on sub-level 2. 96 meters northeast. We get orders from Holland, sir?
We're being redeployed to Sword Base.
Sword? Covenant own it now!
Which is why they want us for a torch and burn op. Keep Dr. Halsey's excavation data from falling into enemy hands.
If it hasn't already.
Maybe, but according to Holland, the Covenant are still hunting for something.
Where does he get off calling a demolition a priority one?
Come on, get in!
Let's go! Come on!
Kat gets shot in the head by a super sharp needler round. A round that is pure crystal and is sharper than the most sharpened knife in the world. Her shields were disabled by the atomic spike of the radiation from the Covenant's glassing, and thus it was a quick, painless death. Her death is the most unexpected death in the game. You have no idea it's coming. You have no idea it's going to happen. You haven't been with Noble Team directly in the past 2 missions. You've barely seen them at all in the 2 hours of gameplay that you've had in the last few missions. And as soon as they're all back together after George's sacrifice, Kat's dead. In the middle of her sentence, in a cutscene. No build up, nothing. You don't get revenge. You don't get vengeance. You're stuck there. They shoot helplessly at the Phantom carrying the sniper. But as it flies away, what are they left to do? They will never see that Phantom again. They will never see the Covenant alien who shot and killed Kat. Her death was just any other death. It's just a regular soldier. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. As the camera pans back, you see New Alexandria completely glassed. Noble Team emerges from the fallout bunker with the somber music playing. Kat being held by Carter on the right side. And as she's carried out by her one true friend, Carter looks down at her corpse. After coming to terms with her death, he relaxes. He understands there's nothing he can do, and there's nothing anyone else can do. The loss of the person that's been there from the beginning, the one person that has been by his side the entire time, and in that simple gesture of him relaxing is all of the grief he will ever need to process. Their jobs have not yet concluded yet. There is still more that they must do before they can rest. As stated before the glassing, or as stated as they were running from the glassing, Noble Team is being assigned to a torch and burn demolition op of Oni Sword Base. The same Oni Sword Base that they had saved from the Covenant just weeks prior. It is strange the circumstances of this mission details as the Covenant own the base. Why are Spartans being sent in for a simple demolition op when Multiple other soldiers could do the same thing. The whole mission seems funny. It also seems weird. It doesn't feel right without Kat. You go through the entire mission feeling a sense of unease, a sense of, not everyone's here because they aren't here. George and Kat aren't there. George is somewhere off in another universe, in the slip space universe. And Kat hopefully has been properly buried or cremated or has been taken off world to be buried. But for now, before you can grieve, before anything else, you must, without a doubt, complete your mission. As they arrive to the predetermined coordinates that they were given by their helpful AI, Auntie Dot, they realize it's a corner. There is nothing more than just a corner. A place where it looks like it was the last stand of a few soldiers trying to protect something. But upon further investigation, it appears Oni and their sly nature has come back once again to haunt Noble.
Looks like they got themselves cornered.
Or we're committed to the position.
I'm going with cornered. There's nothing here. No load-bearing columns either. Sir, if we're supposed to blow this place, this ain't the spot to do it from.
Dot, check your vector.
Vector confirmed, Commander. We are precisely where Oni has directed. Apologies. Coordinates revised. Please confirm?
Revised?
By an AI of unknown origin, whose clearance is well above my own.
Well, it's pointing us a click and a half east and 2,000 feet underground. I didn't bring my shovel, Commander. Sir, I say we go AI free on this one. Obviously, these coordinates are junk, and the longer we go chasing them...
What is this, Dot?
Our revised route, Commander.
All right, we came this far. Your new AI friend tell you anything else, Dot? Dot.
She's been expecting you.
That's perfect.
Apologies for the unusual security measures, Commander, but the stakes demand it.
Dr. Halsey. Casualty reports have you listed as...
Yes, well, as they say, news of my death has been greatly exaggerated. I only wish the same could be said of the rest of Noble Team.
We all do, ma'am.
It may please you to learn that the data module Noble 2 procured from Visegrad Station contained precisely what my scientist promised. A latchkey discovery. It has unlocked, at last, the secrets of this excavation.
Not sure I understand.
Your orders were a pretext to bring you to me, and have been overridden. You are here, Team Noble, to ensure the delivery of this vital data to a secure location.
Doctor, our orders are to destroy all sensitive material.
Others will handle the demolition.
I'll need to confirm this new directive with command.
Colonel Holland will be briefed. You belong to Oni now.
As they reach Dr. Halsey, they notice a large Forerunner artifact. Forerunners, the people, the aliens before the Covenant and humanity, a relic left on Reach. As they venture towards Halsey, Halsey informs them of a possible superweapon being derived from this device. Noble Team, has to defend Halsey in order to extract and safely get this weapon off planet. Along with the conversation between Kat and Carter during the last mission, New Alexandria, this conversation between Carter and Halsey is much, much different. There's a big difference in between this conversation. It's not as simple as two teammates talking, as one wanting to know if they're losing. No. This is much, much different. This is a change into desperation of telling your colleague or telling someone else something dire, something that is going to happen, that there's no stopping it, and that there is only one thing that you can do.
What is this stuff?
Knowledge. A birthright from an ancient civilization. This AI is its custodian, and she has chosen you as her couriers.
Chosen? By an AI?
By this AI, yes. Her measure of you carries as much weight as my own, perhaps more. You are to take her to the UNSC shipbreaking yard in Azad. There, you'll find a Halcyon-class cruiser waiting to get her off planet.
I understand.
Do you? Mankind is outmatched. When Reach falls, and it will fall, our annihilation is all but certain. Unless we can glean from this artifact a defense against the Covenant. A game-changer. On the level of the conical bullet in the 19th century, or faster-than-light travel in the 23rd.
And what if we can't?
An apt question, if there were somewhere else to place our hope. There is not.
Dr. Halsey then gives Noble 6 the housing unit for the AI that she had been working on and decrypting the data for, hoping that Noble 6, with all of his skills and all of his talent, will be able to safely bring Cortana to the shipbreaking yard in Azad. Carter makes the decision upon leaving the underground artifact to split up Noble Team. June, a former Oni headhunter, basically meaning an assassin, is directed to go with Dr. Halsey as she moves to the castle base. There, he instructs June to make sure nothing falls into enemy hands, implying that if they're to get attacked and close to being overrun, to shoot and kill Dr. Halsey to prevent her from falling to the Covenant. Carter, Noble 6, and Emil then venture out and set a heading towards the shipwrecking yard in Azad and further to the Pillar of Autumn.
Extraction point left on this continent. Small-scale air attacks have decimated many convoys en route. An armada of Covenant cruisers is hastening to the site as well. UNSC cruiser Pillar of Autumn is awaiting your arrival.
Wouldn't be a noble mission if it were easy.
We then start the last formal mission of the game, called the Pillar of Autumn. And it starts out with one of the most intense moments in the game.
Noble Leader, seek immediate medical attention. Noble Leader, please respond. Please respond. Sierra 259. You are alarming me.
Not sure how long she's gonna stay together. Skies are jammed up anyway. Gotta get you off her, Lieutenant.
Sir, you...
Don't want to hear it. Get the package to the Autumn.
Done.
Not yet, it's not. Emil, go with her. It's a ground game now.
It's been an honor, sir.
Likewise. I'll do what I can to draw their fire. 6. That AI chose you. She made the right choice. On my mark. Mark!
We then traverse the mission with Emil, fighting through Covenant and broken roads and destroyed buildings as we progress towards the Pillar of Autumn as fast as we can before our window runs out. Eventually, we are roadblocked. A massive scarab approaches us, and there is no way past it.
Noble, you've got a situation.
Mother. We can get past this, sir.
No, you can't. Not without help.
Commander, you don't have the firepower.
I've got the math.
Solid copy. Hit 'em on, boys.
You're on your own, Noble. Carter out.
Crevice to the east. Let's go.
Knowing that his team cannot move past the scarab, Carter does the ultimate sacrifice. As commander of Noble Team, looking out for his members, he rams the Pelican at a high speed at the scarab, destroying it, sacrificing himself on the off chance that Emil and Noble 6 will be able to push to the Autumn and get the AI on the ship. A noble sacrifice for the Noble Team leader. After Carter's sacrifice, Noble 6 and Emil, through resistance, make it to the docking yard of the Pillar of Autumn. Emil gets on a gun known as a mass driver, which is typically used for civilian applications but has been modified by the UNSC as an anti-air and anti-Covenant vehicle. And as Captain Keyes approaches the landing pad to acquire the package from Noble 6, disaster strikes, of course.
Good to see you, Spartan. Halsey assured me I could count on you.
Not just me, sir.
They'll be remembered. Cruiser, adjusting heading for the Autumn. Noble 4, I need fire on that cruiser or we're not getting out of here. Do you copy?
I have your window, sir.
Bridge, this is the captain. We have the package. Returning to the Autumn, over.
Copy that.
Who's next? I'm ready! How about you?
As Covenant ships approach the Autumn, they attack the two Pelicans, housing Keyes and other Army soldiers and Marines. One Covenant vehicle, a Phantom, approaches the mass driver Emil is at and drops two elites on his position. Emil kills one, and as the other one approaches from behind, he stabs Emil in the back with an energy sword. Emil is not one to fight death. Throughout his entire life, he has only known death. His parents were killed by insurrectionists on his home world, and his brother, who took care of him after his parents' demise, was then killed by the Covenant. He hates humans and Covenants alike, and this was his moment to get revenge and to not die without a fight. With Emil being dead and the mass driver being unmanned, the Covenant cruiser approaching the Autumn is left without resistance to approach. Noble 6, keeping with his or her lone wolf mentality, denies evacuation from the Marines and Captain Keyes to defend the Pillar of Autumn and ensure that it gets out to orbit safely and can slip away to whatever position it needs to go.
Lieutenant, get aboard! We gotta get the hell out of here!
Negative. I have the gun. Good luck, sir.
Good luck to you, Spartan.
As you approach the mass driver to protect the Autumn, As you come closer and closer, eventually reaching the base of it, you can see Emil resting on the railing right below the mass driver. Seeing the two elites on the ground, showing that even though they killed Emil still took two of those bastards to hell right along with him. Noble Six then takes command of the mass driver, firing at Phantoms and Banshees as they approach his position, before eventually taking out the Covenant cruiser and watching as the Pillar of Autumn flies away.
Good guns, Spike. All stations, brace for cast-off. This is the Pillar of Autumn. We're away. The package is with us.
Noble Six is then left alone on the planet, with no hope of extraction, with no hope of rescue. His only option is to fight till his death, in which he will be served his own death. At this point in the game, humanity has lost Reach. Reach falls on August 30th, 2552. It was a well-fought battle, but it was still no match for the Covenant. There was nothing Noble Team or any of the UNSC could do to change this outcome. It was only a matter of time. Reach really shows the idea of losing constantly with no winning in between. As the clips and the gameplay and the missions that we have just gone over, those were only a small fragment of the game, but in which you saw loss and defeat and loss and defeat after another once and once over again. There was only a few victories, a few that you can list off your fingers. Visegrad Relay in the mission Winter Contingency when they fought back and killed the Covenant. Oni Sword Base when they protected and fended off a Covenant corvette from attacking Oni Sword Base. And finally, the last win being the destruction of the long night of solace above Reach. Those wins were the only wins that we see in the game, and most likely the only significant wins in the entirety of the battle. But for each one of those wins, there was an even bigger loss that followed soon after. And all of Noble Team paid that price besides June, who managed to safely get out of the planet, being the only surviving member of Noble Team. Noble Six's last stand does not last forever. It's been widely debated even to this day, 15 years after Halo Reach's launch, how long Noble Six actually survives for. If you're a good enough player, you can most likely get Noble Six to last a few hours, maybe even longer if you're even that much of a good player. But in the end, it doesn't matter. Noble Six succumbs to the rest of the fate as Carter, Kat, George, and Emil did. All the same fate. They all died on Reach. At the time of this recording, September 16th, 2025, Reach will officially have been 15 years old only 2 days prior. It is regarded as one of the best games in the Halo franchise, and I have to agree. And I hope you do as well with all of what you've seen in this review and analysis. Now, I am a bit biased in this analysis, and this analysis does also not fully go into the game itself. I highly recommend looking in at better sources, better people than me, to cover this topic, Halo Canon being one of them. If you're interested, please check out his video on the fall of Reach. It's much more in depth than I could ever be in the time frame that I have. I do think that this game is flawed in some aspects, but it is also a masterpiece. It revolutionized Halo storytelling in a way that it included the books almost directly into the game. The characters were amazing. The overall plot of the game is just incredible. There's not really much else to say. I just want to say thank you for, watching and listening. And I would like to leave you with this last cutscene, the final cutscene in the game, and a quote from Dr. Halsey. Thank you.
It didn't take long for Reach to fall. Our enemy was ruthless, efficient, but they weren't nearly fast enough. For you had already passed the torch, and because of you, we found Halo, unlocked its secrets, shattered our enemy's resolve. Our victory, your victory, was so close. I wish you could have lived to see it. But you belong to Reach. Your body, your armor, all burned and turned to glass. Everything. Except your courage. That you gave to us. And with it, we can rebuild.